Since moving to Drummond several years ago, Bob Teruel has wanted to be an agent for change. As owner of the Drummond Motel, he thinks that the city has lost some of its desire to grow and prosper. Now, with Drummond's mayoral election just under 2 months away, he has declared his intent to run for the city's highest office in hopes of being that agent of change that he sees the city so desperately needing.
So, Bob, this is Bob Teruel, and Bob, tell us, what is your reason? You want to run for mayor here? What's the general purpose in that?
Well, obviously I'm dissatisfied with the way things are going here in town, so I want to make some improvements. I don't like the fact that I think that we're going to become a ghost town here. When the older folks pass on, there isn't going to be any youth, to be able to take over. They're leaving, and there's no reason for them to stay. There's no jobs, there's no housing available for them. So what are they supposed to do but leave? So then you end up with a ghost town.
So in looking at that, let's look at maybe 2-3 specific things that you think as mayor you think you could maybe help this town go forward with.
Okay, the first thing I want to say is when I'm elected, I'm going to ask the whole town council and the town attorney for their resignations immediately. I have a group of excellent people that have already agreed to come on board to finish those terms out, and then the community can then decide whether or not they want to grant them a full term. So that's my first goal. Secondly, I want to put an end to this train whistle that keeps coming through town 24 hours a day and blasting its whistles. And the reason for that, we can put a quiet zone in here. It's going to cost some money, but Norris Amundsen has agreed to work with me to get that done. And he's done years and years of research and letter writing and everything, so he has an extensive background on what we need to accomplish that. Because that train whistle is very harmful to our health, to our children's health, to our mental and physical being. And statistics, bear that out.
Okay.
So we've got to put an end to that train whistle. And that can be accomplished. Other towns throughout our country have done that.
Okay.
So that's one of my goals. Another one of my goals, and I've talked about it in the past, is that we need to bring events into town. I've talked to Roger Fix, who's the commander of the local American Legion post here,
right,
and he's agreed to allow us to use the rodeo grounds whenever it's available. I just have to let him know what dates, and we can use that rodeo grounds.
And that's free of charge, or reduced fee, or
it'll be we haven't gone into much detail, but there will be like a $700 charge for the outhouses. They have to be cleaned.
Sure.
So there'll be a $700 charge for that. But I've asked, and she has accepted, Shannon Martell, whom you probably know,
yeah,
the Martells, who put on an excellent event here every year, and it's very successful.
Yeah.
And she has agreed to assist us in bringing in events into this town, which will bring revenue in. It'll bring business money into our business.
Now, when you talk about events, what kind of events are we talking about?
In
general,
I have ideas of my own, but I want community involvement, in these things. It's their town, and they need, I want their input. So we're talking, we can do monster trucks. We can bring in a circus. We can bring in concerts. Look at Phillipsburg. Okay, they bring a concert in. They got a town of 800 people, and they draw through over 3,000 people. They tripled their population by throwing a concert.
Sure.
And we can do the same thing. I mean, let's get realistic. We got a freeway right here. Peterboroug's 35 miles away from the freeway,
yeah,
but yet they're thriving. Deer Lodge is starting to thrive. They've come together as a community. They've put together groups there in town, and they're working to build that town up. And we can do the same thing here.
So let me ask you this then. When you look at the workforce that you're talking about, Drummond has got, give or take, about 350 people in it, and a population that, for the most part, is older in years. There's, as you stated, there's not a lot of young people still hanging around. So do you see, because it seems to me that folks in Drummond are kind of stretched in a lot of different areas. There's a Kiwanis Club, there's a chamber, there's a town hall, there's dozens of other little clubs that people are kind of attached to. How do you see mobilizing that when people are kind of stretched for their time as it is, or at least they feel they're stretched?
Well, I think that we can all have a common goal. Everybody. There's a lot of folks here who have worked very hard in this town. A lot of them are in their 80s and 90s,
Sure.
And they're working the rodeo grounds and stuff. I think if the community sees that we're going to be able to build our community and bring things in here, bring jobs in here, and events and having fun, because we're not having any fun in our town. Our kids have no place to go. Then I think the community will band together, and at least I hope so, and help get these things to where we can actually get some things done. And I want to bring. We have a community hall here. I'd like to open that up for the kids, and maybe we can have dances there or movie nights there, events for the kids to where they can go and have fun and do things. And if some of the parents and adults can step up and chaperone these events and stuff. We don't do anything here for these kids, and what do they have to do? So obviously nothing, and they're going to be leaving, and we don't want that. We don't need that. I'm actually going to start having movie nights right here at the motel, and I'm thinking about having it right here on the lawn here. I'd like to start maybe this weekend. I'm not sure yet because my part for my projector hasn't come in yet. It's supposed to be in yesterday. But I want to start having movie nights here for the community to come and to fellowship, and to get to know one another so that we can build ourselves as a community. And we'll show, movies, suggestions from the community as to what movies to show, like, I don't know, Back to the Future or Ice Age or things like that for the kids.
So logistically, on that particular venue, have you got like a screen? I assume you've got a sound system or something, and you talked about getting a part for a projector.
Yeah, I just purchased a 10-foot screen.
Oh, okay.
So, we'll figure out, I was talking to one of my tenants here, a very good friend of mine, Tim, and we can even maybe put it under the tree here because we've got the shade from the sun and everything. And get it started a little later in the evening, so that we can actually see the screen. It's all in the works, We're just trying to get it all together and find out what works for us, and then we can put that out for the folks to bring their kids and let's get together. Bring your popcorn and your snacks, and let's get together and enjoy one another's company.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Your platform then is really that you want to see more community involvement, more community activism with trying to promote Drummond and make it into something more of a destination than it is now.
I do. Yeah, I want the community to get involved. I mean, this is their community, and right now I don't see any of that happening. We've got to change. We've got to improve things. I don't like the word change because the Obama administration destroyed that, but we've got to improve things. They can't stay stagnant. Nothing can stay stagnant.
Sure.
Otherwise it dies. And there's a lot of potential that we have here. We just have to start tapping into it. We've got to tap into that, and I think it can be done.
Okay.
I've got a great group of people that are going to step up, and then the community afterwards can decide whether or not they want to continue with these folks. But the choice is simple. We can stay stagnant with the current administration, and the town dies, or we can attempt to save our town and grow it, and bring things in here and bring revenue in here, which we desperately need.
So, in talking a little bit previously, you indicated that having people run against anybody in these smaller towns is kind of a unique thing. You generally don't have two people who want to be mayor or the council seats. So you've talked a little bit about wanting to have maybe a town hall or a debate or something along those lines. What do you see would be the ultimate goal of having something like that?
Well, the ultimate goal is to let people see the differences in the current administration and what a new administration is looking to do and to bring into town. Let's face it, the current administration has been in power since the early 90s, and so she has a record to stand on, or not, whether it be good or bad, and the people need to be able to look at that record and see what she's accomplished over these past 20 plus years and what someone else coming in can accomplish and at least hope to accomplish.
And so how do you obviously what you're asking to do is to bring a lot of change. And you've got but there's a lot of change, and a lot of folks here are, again, older, kind of comfortable with how they do things. How do you plan to package that change, I guess, so that they see it as a little more positive and possible thing?
Well, the folks here, not only in Drummond but in Montana, as they should be, are very proud of this state, and they're very proud of their town. So the bottom line is, do you want to continue to have a town for your children and your grandchildren to be proud of, or do you want to just pass on and leave there with no town? Well, we got a ghost town already right around the corner, Garnett,
Sure.
And that's what we're facing, and they need to start to realize that. So that's the point that I'm trying to get across to folks, is that, I know change is tough. Believe me, I moved from California here. I know how tough changes are. It was a great move, by the way. But anyway, I know that change is tough, and it's hard for people to accept. But they've got to be able to look beyond what they're looking at and at the whole picture. And the whole picture is, do you want your kids and grandkids to continue to have this kind of life, or do you want them to have to move to an area where it's not so pleasant? Maybe they'll move on into California where the tax rate is 60-70% on every dollar, and you've got all these sanctuary cities and all the problems that they have, or do you want them to be able to live and enjoy the things here with the environment that we have, the fishing and the hunting and the skiing and all that, and to live in a peaceful area. So that's what we've got to look at. We've got to consider.
All right. Well, best of luck. We'll keep in touch with you throughout the summer and as the election rolls up in November. And best of luck to you and your campaign.
Tim. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Teruel has a tough road ahead if he is to unseat popular and longtime mayor Gail Leeper. But with 2 months until voters cast their ballots, anything is possible. Reporting for QSPNLive.com, this is Tim Allen.